All right, greetings everybody. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Ashen Mont quest, which I've been getting requests to say, "Hey Umbra, none of June. Got anything else?" Well, I do, and we're going to talk about it today. What should be noted first is that Ashen Mont is quite a difficult challenge. It is, for most players, probably unobtainable, mainly because it does require a certain amount of communication, a certain level of understanding, and just doing it with randos is probably going to be frustrating for most. So, if at all possible, try and organize with some people to sit down and do it. It probably takes roughly about 10 minutes at most. And today, what I'm going to talk about is the JP. One sec, I'm going to mute my mic. All right, sorry about that. I had something. So anyway, so I have been looking on JP, and for the most part, there isn't too terribly much in the way of resources, whether people are just busy or not super interested because of how challenging and daunting these can be. I don't entirely know, but there are a number of players who have at least beaten it so far. So it's not impossible. Wotv Ultima has basically nothing on the actual topic that can be of any help. And taking a look at Game 8, which I didn't look at before this video, but no, they don't have anything, I think, either. Oh, wait. Hold on one second. No, they only have the basic information, so not too terribly much that's going to be really helpful. That's unfortunate, because there are people looking for some answers about how you can potentially do this. Before we get into it, no, I haven't beaten it yet. I have not actually organized the remaining members of my guild to see if anybody really wants to do it. But essentially, it is looking to be a lot like the Snake Tank in terms of setup and everything. I'm going to show the one JP video that I've been able to find for now. If there's anything else that shows up for the rest of the week, I'll make another video, but for now, we'll focus on this. So, this YouTuber, Asaruto, is the one that we are looking at today, and his is not particularly a cheap option for most people because, well, it's essentially what you would kind of expect, the most strongest, powerfulest characters, but hey, it's not Doom, because that's the thing I've heard for globalers is that everybody's using Doom, so for the Doom Ashen Mont, it is potentially possible for a one player to end up bringing a character for tanking necessities such as Volk or Dario, or potentially for a healer, as this is a little bit of endurance. So the setup is basically the major thing that you are trying to do is you are trying to kill Ashen King Mont, but there are also 3 other characters that need killed by, at least from what I can tell. Volk, Oldoa, and Kitsune, all of them will show up over the course of the fight, and you need to be able to kill them. Now, in this example that we're seeing here, Sephiroth is brought along. Now, Sephiroth does have some things that are particularly useful in the sense of AoE resistance. It is one of the reasons why you might want to bring Sephiroth, since Mont here is capable of increase, or there's some buff that some of the characters are running that's effectively preventing AoEs from happening. Now, if you're just able to bring Ashen Monts by the boatload, well, you can focus a lot more on single target attacks. But a couple of things that seem to be pretty essential for this. Speed VCs are generally nice, as you are kind of working a little bit against the clock, just because there are a lot of little, ad characters. And while the other thing I would say that's important is of course, the blood sword, because it provides just so much healing that you do not need to run a healer, is kind of just necessary. Whether the +1 is, I don't think so, as one of the places where you're going to be getting a fair amount of power up is from just the summon effect that you will activate later on in this fight. But, you know, key things from this are almost certainly the same as the snake tank. Here you don't need to worry about slashing resistance. There is no slashing penetration really needed. So the more firepower and more HP that you can stack on your characters is better. For each of the Monts, I do believe that they are around 13,000, 14,000. It provides a nice buffer that means that you can really just focus on killing certain characters and completely ignore the small fry, like 100%. So if you're looking for VCs, of course, the double-headed dragon is one of the key ones, as it will up damage limit and allow you to deal more damage, more turns, essentially getting through this faster. And Mont does have a veritable truckload of HP to get through. And whether the Bart strategy works at all, I don't think it will. There's just too many ads from all over the places, and this time the teleportation in over multiple time periods and just the general location of each of those is pretty inflexible to get. Like with the snake tank, you were able to multi-hit with the Bart's chain style effect, but it does quite work here, as the 4 targets that you will need to get are mostly spread out, but most of the time, essentially, Ashen Mont allows you to single target, not worry about the AoE resistance at all, and flexibly hit targets with the fact that a lot of Mont's attacks do a hit here and a hit there. And yeah, healing power up is also just generally nice, as it effectively keeps your characters just healthier for longer. And this fight can be a bit of a slog. Activating the map attack will just increase attack power and should be activated into the later part of the fight, since the initial part is not super terrifying. What is terrifying a little bit more is later, since you have so many secondary characters teleporting in. You want the second half of the fight, or at least 3/4 to the second half, to be when you use your Esper to up your power, as that is kind of the key moment where you want to be moving a little bit faster. See, their Volk ends up getting out, so he is done. We don't have to worry about him, but now we have a secondary character in here that we have to worry about, as well as the ads are just getting more and more. Again, you should primarily focus on killing Mont, but if you push Mont down too fast, you kind of will get all of them at the same time, which isn't great. You'll be surrounded and you have a little difficulty. Here, the strategy seems to be is essentially focusing one hit on Mont and one hit on whatever the secondary character is. You get a constant wheeling down and not too much stuff building up in turn. Really, really powerful. You see, the healing is keeping them in a pretty... And unfortunately, for this video, since this is the only video that I could find, she even apologizes just to the fact, or well, the YouTuber apologizes for the fact that they did not record the actual room on entry, as that was their mistake. So they talked a little bit about the VCs, but the VCs are pretty self-explanatory. Any source of upping your power and survivability are the big things, but damage limit, you will need that. So Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon card is the best source for that. 2 people have it. One is sub, one is minor, and even increased a little bit, then it should... So yeah, now we just have Mont here. You can see that there even is some support on the team, but don't fear too much. You still want to focus heavily in on, at this point, just killing off Mont. And as you can see, Sephiroth has been taken down. Not to worry though. You lose 1 or 2 characters, actually okay. Titane also has that secondary hit on her attack, so that is something you deal with. You can see here even very, 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 very powerful characters are starting to just get wheedled down by how tough this is. But at this point, I think it's still a really, really good idea to focus on getting Mont dead. But we'll see what he does. Gets rid of one of the ads because the placing is slightly off. Second Mont is down. Titane is going to come in, and as you can see, her damage isn't terrible. There you go. You are Mont, but there's the proof. It's not just Mont that you need to be able to defeat. You need to be able to all the units, and with this final attack here, Titane goes down, quest is over, and that's a win for our team. So for people who have been worried about Joom, who have decided to go for Ashen Mont, the good news is that Ashen Mont is really good in this fight and does provide an alternative. There is some open space for having a defensive character or a healing character in there instead. I haven't found any actual video proof. Another thing that might be considered important is the Thorn of what is it? The item Thorn of Horns, I think it is. See if I have it. I mean, I do have it. I don't know if I have it. Ah, yes, here it is. So I'll just down. So this is the one that is rather important. However, if at all possible, you do want a critical version. Critical is recommended, as trying to get critical hits in this fight seem to be a little bit more annoying. So if at all possible, try and create a critical version of this, which will help get those crits, deal more damage, and get the enemy beat. If there is a even easier solution, I have not found it at this point in time. Maybe it exists on global than what you hear. And with Ashen Mont just having come out, the timing on this isn't exactly great, but I'm not in charge of that. He else is, so blame them, not the messenger. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully, best of luck in being able to beat this. And if you can't beat this, don't worry. It requires maybe more effort than it's actually worth to get entered into a lottery to win basically nothing. I would recommend that you at least enter your name into it, try and fight it. And even if you do die, it's not a big deal. Just, so you can get your name registered and whatnot. That's plenty fine. Anyway, best of luck to you. I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together.